Guys, Chimera Legends, welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. Guys, we've done it. We got our hands on the Fusion. Man, I have some pretty strong opinions on this champion. I think they might diverge from what I've seen out there so far, so I can't wait to share my thoughts with you guys. But first, let's clear the red dot together. My head's blocking it, but let's clear that red dot. Here it is. So I missed out on the Thor fusion. This guy gets compared to Thor a lot, at least from what I've seen out there. And I think it's like, I don't know, you can understand the comparison being an AoE damage dealer with a little bit more as well, some unique attributes on him. But at the same time, he's quite different. But I missed out on Thor either way. And by golly, I wasn't going to miss out on, hopefully, no fusions ever. I want to be a completionist here on the channel, but certainly not Tholin. Tholin Foulbeard, first of all, he looks really freaking cool. He's one of my favorite looking dwarfs, I want to say, in the game. And why do I have him this early? I actually pulled one of the fusion epics, so that's why I got him already today. So let's quickly go over the kit. I want to point out some things to you guys as we go. First off, his stats, his base stats, right? Squishy with a lot of attack, 1674. He also has an attack in all battles by 30%. You can use it in Cursed City, you can use it in Siege, you can use it, well, anywhere. It's all battles. An AoE on the A1, Demon Breaker is a highlight of this dude's kit, first of all, right? Does a pretty significant amount of damage. I actually want to go through and compare him to some damage for you guys as well. His A1 hits like Timot's A3 or Sun Wukong's, better example, A3 ability. Alexander the Sharpshooter's A2, his AoE, that is very similar to the damage that we're going to get from Tholin's A1. This is his basic ability. So what does it do? It has a 25 booked up to 50% chance of placing the weaken. Sniper Mastery brings that to 55% chance. Also has a 50% chance to place a weakened debuff for 2 turns, or 75 if the target's from the Corrupted Alliance, or is a boss, or is a minion. Very good against Hydra as well, with that AoE 75% weaken. This cannot be resisted by enemies from the Corrupted Alliance or bosses or minions, thus no need for accuracy in this dude's kit, which is really, really nice because it's the only debuff that he has. Grants an extra turn if the weakened debuff was placed on all enemies by this skill. So a banger of an A1 ability. His A2 is a hard-hitting single target nuke, and it has damage escalation, which is money in this game. 3-turn cooldown when booked, 2-time hitter. Each hit, ignore 25% of the target's defense. If the target's from the Corrupted Alliance, or is a boss, or a minion, each hit ignores 50% of the target's defense instead. So you add on some Helm Smasher and a lethal in Savage. You're looking at potential 100% ignore defense on this ability. Each hit decreases the target's attack by 5%, so attack de-escalation. Also, increase this champion's attack by 5% up to 50%. Very good in areas like Chimera, longer battles, right? Hydra, right? Rabid Fury, his A3, also a 3-turn cooldown, AoE ×2 hitter. Before attacking, he brings his own increased attack, which is nice. For each critical hit landed with the first hit, increases the damage on the second hit. Will ignore unkillable and shield buffs. So no block damage ignore, but he will ignore unkillable on this A3 ability. This A3 does not hit that hard, but it's also not like that weak. It's a little bit weaker than Leo's A2, Leorius the Proud. It's similar, but maybe it's tiny bit lighter hitting than He-Man's ability on his AoE, right? Now, granted, it does have that extra damage potential, so it's hard to, it's a little bit apples and oranges there, but I want to give you guys comps on the AoE damage. The multipliers are going to be a 2.5. Let me pull it up here. Sorry. Thanks to HellHades.com, a 2.5 on his AoE on his A1, a 2.4 on his A2 ability, 2-time hitter, and a 2 on the AoE on the A3 on a 2-time hitter, okay? His passive, Evil's Nightmare, activates Demon Breaker every 5th turn this champion takes. That's his AoE on his A1. I love that ability. A free activation of an A1 every 5th turn. And keep in mind, you get an extra turn if the weaken was placed on all enemies by this skill. So really 2 instant/active turns, or active A1 abilities. You guys get what I'm saying. Built into this champion's kit. One is an A1 activation. One is a proper extra turn provided the weaken is landed. And then enemies from the Corrupted Alliance, bosses, and minions cannot land a critical hit on this champion. Very, very nice. Critical hits are a way to save him from debuffs as well as damage. So a lot going on this little dwarf's kit. He certainly caught my eye. I knew right away I wanted to go for this dude. So how does he do? Let's go ahead and talk about him. Actually, before we talk about him, let me show you the area rankings on hellhades.com. His overall ranking is a 4.5. I'm going to give you my overall grade on this champion at the end of today's video. 4.5 overall grading, pretty high grade. Area rankings. And this is where maybe my opinion diverges just slightly from, these rankings, right? Core areas. Demon Lord, a 4.5. Hydra, 4.5. Wave content, a 4. Chimera, 4.5. Amos, 4.5. He does 3 Chimera trials. Centrano's hard stages, 50. I love that they added those in the rankings. Really nice on every champion, by the way. Shout out to Nubs and YST and Saf and the guys putting the rankings in there on all these champions. A lot of hard work goes into this website. Spider, 4.5. So I'm going to disagree here, respectfully. Waves, I probably give him like a 5 in waves. He's very, very good. A lot of damage output, which you'll see in a moment. Hydra, I agree with. Chimera, TBD. We're going to battle Chimera in today's video. Demon Lord, yeah, not bad, but not my fave. I'd rather have, let's not compare apples and oranges again. Spider, I don't think he's that great at Spider personally. Let me just throw on Spider in the background here while I'll show you the build in a moment here, but we're getting crazy in today's video. We're doing everything out of order. Spider, normal 20, right? I'm just going to throw him in with, a debuffer and some healers, right? Kind of put him in the background here, but, he's an AoE damage dealer, Actually, we can't go against freaking Spirit Affinity, Ash. Come on, man. That's not fair. That's not fair here, right? Let's go stage 21 instead, right? But you'll see his damage is, not bad, certainly, but I don't think he's like a great dungeon champion, honestly, He does shine in plenty of other areas. That's his A2. Granted, that's damage escalation, right, throughout the battle. You'll see his AoE. It's going to be nice to kill the spiderlings because of the debuffs and stuff, right? Come on. Take a turn. There you go. Solid. That was his A3, right? But, he's just like an AoE. I've never thought that. I look for burners and stuff, or enemy max HP champions, right, for Spider to give out a really, really high score. But I guess in Spider progression, you could do worse. But I don't give him a 4.5 personally. But you can kind of see the damage here. We'll keep that running in the background. Same thing with Fire Knight. Same thing with Dragon. A single hitter on his A1. I don't give him that high of a grade. Same thing with Dragon. I don't see him as being a specialist in any dungeon. He can help you with waves. If you can keep him alive, he can help you against the boss. Ice Golem, same thing. I'd probably give him around 3 in dungeons personally. Iron Twin, same kind of deal. Sand Devil, Shogun, very good in Shogun. In Hard's kind of the same thing. So I don't see him as a dungeon champion personally. Doom Tower, you can use him in areas like Dark Fae, certainly to clear out your own team with him, right, as well. Eternal Dragon, I pretty much agree with these scores here, right? I like him in the arena. I like him against Hydra. I like him against any wave content, Centranos and so on and so forth. 1 second, I'm getting choked up here, but you guys get the point in the Spider, right? This is Spider 21, 1 sec. Okay, sorry, I just had a coughing fit there, guys. I'm getting choked up talking about my man Tholin, guys. Listen, some builds for this dude, right? This is an arena build. Stoneskin and Savage, of course it will suffice in other areas of the game as well, but Stoneskin Savage are going to be the way to go in the arena with this champion because he has that passive, right? Where every 5th turn, he gets another activation of his A1. If you can pull it off on your account, I think a 9-piece Merciless, so he can have a chance of an extra turn already, thus more turns, thus activating the A1 more often would be a very nifty combo on him, a very, very nice gear set recommendation. Again, if you can pull off the 9-piece Merciless, of course, 9-piece Merciless, who do I have on it? I think I have Rhodos. Of course, it activates that on the 9-piece, 15% chance of getting an extra turn. So extra turns synergize very well in a PvE environment with this champion. champion, obviously. Now, another set I would consider on him for PvE content would actually be Slayer. Merciless 9-piece, that'd probably be my first shot, right? Or just anything savage and cruel gear, or, you know, whatever you have. Certainly Zeal or something like that would be even better. But Slayer is very interesting on this champion as well. Of course, we can get 30% ignore defense when using AoE skills. Very good for his A1 and his A3. Granted, his A2, which is hard hitting, it will not apply. But with all those AoEs cranking out, right, you can get a fills this champion's turn meter by 5% per the first hit on each enemy from AoE attacks, and then all the way at 9, 30% chance to deal additional AoE damage based on the damage dealt by AoE skills. I would still prefer personally Merciless or just Savage in whatever you have on this champion, but it's a consideration. All right, so those are some gear set recommendations on this dude. Let me show you really quickly what we have here. Crit damage on the gauntlets. We have attack percentage on the chest. He's an attack-based damage dealer, obviously, and we have speed with some attack percentage on the Ascension here. He is a bit slow, especially for the end game. I think 250 is like pretty a hard floor for end game, like Platinum or High Live Arena, ideally closer to 300. So this is not an insane build, but it's fairly good gear. Keep in mind, no awakening in today's video, no empowerment in today's video, thus no blessings in today's video. However, once I do get blessings for him, we are absolutely going to go with Nature's Wrath, right? Increase the damage inflicted by this champion for each debuff they successfully place. So those weakens, right? They'll add up, especially in environments like Hydra, and getting that increased damage will definitely yield the best result damage-wise over time, okay? That's for PvE. Of course, the other one that I would consider for PvE would be Cruelty with all of those AoE attacks. Cruelty, you can't go wrong there as well. In the arena for this champion, I'm going to go with Soul Reap on this champion. That hard-hitting A1 can really be fun, as well as you could obviously, you know, if you have 6-star, you could go Polymorph, you could consider Crushing Rend as well. All viable considerations there. So, okay, what else to talk about on this dude? I have the Cat's Gaze on him for our arena showcase. I'll just keep it on him as well. Cat's Gaze, anything basically with attack and crit damage in terms of stats are going to benefit Tholin. But other than that, you know, Cat's Gaze is going to be really the creme de la creme in terms of the relic for this dude, right? We have attack on the stone skin ring, we have crit damage on the amulet, and we have attack on the banner as well. Okay, Masteries. Nothing too crazy here, guys. Most importantly, I actually sacrificed going down the support tree and picking up Sniper for the extra 5% on the weekend on the A1, just because I want the counterattacks. I want Retribution. I wouldn't even blame you if you went with Deterrence as well, right? More counterattacks, more AoEs on the A1. It does a lot of damage. Great blender consideration if you're farming your Great Hall as well. So I like defense, right? The thing is I really want Methodical on this champion as well. Increase the damage inflicted by this champion's default skill by 2% each time it's used during battle. Hell yeah, that's going to benefit him tremendously. And then we're going to end on Helm Smasher. Of course, in PvE, I would gravitate towards War Master for situations like Hydra Clan Boss. Alrighty, let's show this dude in battle. Enough talking about him, right? Let's just start in easy mode to see what he can do in Minnow, right? See what he can do in Minnow. If you can't solo Minnow, there's got to be a problem. But you can see, he goes in with the A3. That's his A2. Here's his A1. A1 damage. Sometimes you can't even tell if it's the A1. There's the A2. Boom, boom. Big boy damage. Big boy damage on that A2. So there he goes. Can be a minnow farmer for you. No big deal, right? I don't think anybody's probably struggling for a minnow farmer, but if you are, there you go. What about Nightmare Campaign? Nightmare difficulty, 12-3 is all spirit. So actually, let's just go 10-3, okay? Let's go 10-3. Hegemons, no worries, we have Stone Skin, right? But this is Nightmare Campaign. Pretty easy for this dude. That's why I really love him in wave-based content. Cintranos, you could put him in a stun set. We didn't talk about stun sets, but obviously anybody with this much AoE prowess as this champion, throw him in a stun set, get by your Cintranos hard stage, right? So he's making this look fairly easily, or easy, excuse me, in Nightmare. So Easy mode for Nightmare campaign as well. Generally wave content, really impressed by this dude, right? His damage stacks up. He's kind of like, he's different in a lot different than a Herndig, but like damage wise, he's kind of on that level when you aggregate all of his skills for me, right? But brings a lot of different debuffs and whatnot, or different things to the table. Okay, let's go into, I don't know, I'm not going to make you watch the whole fight, but I'll do a quick Dark Fae with him, right, as well. He's basically going to be the, this could be any turn meter booster. It could be a Deacon, a Lysandra, whoever. Just increase our team's turn meter, decrease the enemy's team turn meter, right? Let's go ahead and do a super raid. I want to actually stay with you through the wave, though, because you can see, again, he'll just go in there. Actually, he won't need to go in there. He's last to go on the team. But he does very, very well. Very good at just, like, controlling the situation, getting everybody by vis-a-vis death, controlling vis-a-vis nukage, right? So nice damage there, getting a lot of AoEs. And then that's just his A1 that we've been watching, by the way. I shut off his A1 or his A3 and his A2 on both the waves. That way he can lead in with his A3 against the mirrored version of our champions here. So here he barely even needed it there, but you guys saw he can be a nice killer of your own mirrored champs here in Dark Fae, and then we can go in and basically let Allure and the rest of the team, Ninja, essentially clear this out. So again, is he imperative to this team's success? No, certainly not. But he does nice damage. He can help with waves. He can help with killing them, and then he can kill the boss as well. And again, the longer these battles go on, the more powerful and the harder he hits because of that attack escalation up to 50% on his A2. So there he goes back in. That was his 5th skill, so he goes back in with the A1, as you guys saw again. And the Blessed Bash Newt ends this one. So there we go. Tholin just doing a good job supporting the team. All right, guys, let's go into the arena. I'm going to end with Chimera. Let's go into the arena. So before we get to this team, let's try him on an old school Blender team and see how we do here, right? Okay, so my camera just overheated. I'm actually waiting for a new camera to come in. Nobody cares, but this quality is awful, and it overheated. So I'm back. All right, Blender comp. Here we go. So he's with Eric's Mikage, and they basically just go in before the enemy goes, and they do what blenders do. So I like this strat with this champion, primarily because it's fast and it's super efficient. 2 AoE nukers on their A1s, he and Eric's, a turn meter booster, set him up with the increased attack, and they'll finish the job nice and easy there, as you guys can see. So I like this strategy. Of course, you're going to get some L's. You're definitely not going to win all your battles with a strategy like this, but I like it because it's fast and efficient, and he can certainly is a viable contender for that. Let's switch to a more traditional team, though. Let's see if we can, we cut back in line. We go in there. They do get a revive, but we're still fine, I think. Let's try his A3 out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. But Odin is a madman. Odin is a little bit of a madman. Let's see. Of course, Eric's goes in with the counterattack against Marius, exactly what we don't want her to do. Fantastic. And of course, Arbiter does not have a revive up. Just beautiful. Oh, come on. I want revenge against this team, damn it. Where is this? That's why you can't go auto. That's why you can't go auto. Like I said, you'll take some L's with a good old blender, but I do want to switch, like I said, teams to a more traditional, test out that A2 as well. Let's go right in on Arbiter here. And there we go. And just like last time, he survives. We can go right in with the A2 and just end it nice and easily there. So in the arena, why do I like this dude? First of all, it's really that passive. I mean, if we look really quickly before I switch teams at the Corrupted Alliance, I mean, there's a lot of meta champions in Demon Spawn, a ton of them. Undead Horde. I mean, talk about a Rotos counter there. Really, really strong. Really strong. Being Force Affinity and having that passive. No critical hits, right? So a lot of viability as a kind of a niche pick maybe in live arena. Not niche, but like a situational is a better word. Obviously some meta Dark Elves as well, and Knights Revenant, like tons of good champions in Knights Revenant. So a lot of consideration in terms of viability when your opponent drafts or in Classic Arena. You see they have a lot of Corrupted Alliance. You can sub them right in there, especially again being Force Affinity and Anti-Corrupted Alliance. It gives them a lot of extra viability in those niche, in those situational encounters. All right, guys, sorry, I was looking for a team that has some Corrupted Alliance in it, right? And obviously we have Chimera, but more importantly, we have Siphi on this team, right? So some tankage. I want to test out his A2. So let's go in here and let's lead off with the A2 of Armons. And let's get rid of Marius. And then let's take our extra turn. And I don't know, let's just say A3, keep Embreeze in his base form to remove that Stone Skin from Freya. So now we should, I mean, look at Siphi has barely any health right now, so it should be an easy kill here. But again, 110k, but that's a double hitter, okay? That was only hit number 1. So against Corrupted Alliance, man, super strong champion to bring in. He can, that ability, that A2 is insane. Makes him one of the better guys out there on paper, stacking up against other multipliers, especially when you factor in the ignore defense. So there's his A3. Let's try another one. All right, guys, we found another Siphi and Rotos team, or a Siphi and Rotos team here to test them out on, right? All right, so we go first. That's cool. Let's go in and stun them to start out with. Let's get to that A2. Get sheeped. We get Wand of Submissioned on Armons. We're going to go in and get that extra turn. We're going to go in and try to remove that Stone Skin from Taurus. And, okay, now we can start cooking here. So, I really wanted to use the A2 against Siphi, but I think in this situation, I'm going to try to get a kill with the AoE ×2 hitter. It's nice because, again, we can kill Rotos with a 2-time hitter. And that was a beautiful AoE, right? I mean, nice damage. Nice damage. All right. Speaking of nice damage, Taurus comes down and lays the smack down on my squad. Not cool, not cool. We're going to go ahead and we're going to swap HP with him. And then we're going to try the A1 and just end him with a block revive. Let's try one more squad. Well, this team is interesting. After this, we'll do Chimera, by the way, guys. Tormund and then a bunch of Corrupted Alliance, right? Demon Spawn, Volcanos. All scary stuff. Again, we're going to come in here to steal the turn meter. We are going to, do that. And we're going to do this. And again, tempting to just go and kill Siphi. I wish there was like an granted extra turn if it kills an enemy or something like that to really steamroll these guys. But I think the right move is to go with the A3 again. Okay. Let's go. We got frozen by Tormund. That was a nasty freeze because it was a freeze. I'm actually going to get rid of, I might be able to kill Heffrack. Let's just try it. Yeah. That was a nasty little freeze there because it was a freeze off of his increased attack that he brings by himself, right? Let's go ahead and swap and atomize. Boom. All right. So, you know, not the best showcase, I'm going to be real with you guys, but you can see there's a lot of viability, especially against the Corrupted Alliance. I know that's how personal, that's his A2 there. Only took one shot to kill Rotos. Let's go check out Chimera, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put him on my main. I use all my Hydra keys, otherwise I would show this. I apologize, guys. But Chimera, let's go against Nightmare difficulty. I'm going to throw him on my main squad instead of Toshiro, and we'll see what we can do. I forgot what is the actual damage. So over 84 million would give us the Grand Master chest. Let's see how my man can do on this team. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to run it the entirety of the way, and I'm going to keep it on full auto. However, important caveat, that all of the other forms of Chimera, they're going to be Spirit Affinity. So not ideal for my man. Don't hold it against him. That's his A2, by the way, opening up for what, 350k damage or so, but that's going to escalate. That's going to get higher, basically, as the battle goes. So I'll come back to you guys at the end of this battle. Stay tuned. All right, guys, a half an hour later, went on a little walk, came back. My man, Tholin Foulbeard, put out 40 million damage. And I'm going to be real with you guys, did not blow me away. But again, we have no awakening, thus no blessing on him. We have no empowerment on him. We have no relic on him. So there's a lot, and of course the affinities, as I mentioned, right? We're going against the spirit affinities on most of these heads. So take this with a grain of salt. Let's go ahead and grade out this champion here. So overall, as I said in the beginning of the video, I certainly don't regret going for him. After missing out Thor, I'll just never live that down. And as I said, I think the Thor comparisons aren't, you know, especially kind to this champion, but in his own right, things that I do love. I love his passive, right? I love that enemies from the Corrupted Alliance, bosses, minions cannot land critical hits against him. That's really special. I love the every 5-turn activation, good synergy with maybe a Relentless build or maybe a Merciless build if you can pull it off. I like his A1 damage. You guys know what I like and what I kind of don't about this champion. The damage isn't S tier, but it's very nice, and I love that he has that escalating damage as well. From a Force Affinity Dwarf, I think that even I will get some utility out of this champion, especially in niche areas of the game. Overall, I'm going to give him an A-, an A- grade on this champion. Really cool. Did you fuse him? Are you going for him? Let me know what you think if you already have your hands on this champion, and if you don't, what do you think of this review so far? Did the results kind of underwhelm you, or do they surpass your expectations? Thanks for watching until the end of the video, guys. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.